I'd suffered with mental health problems my whole life, but I didn't know what it was because I never had no education on the matter.
I think Tyson Fury for me is like an outstanding boxer. He's one of the boxers that you just can't underestimate. Like every time you think that he's got no chance and he's gonna lose, somehow he pulls it off. Like with the Klitschko fight, no one thought he was gonna win that, and he did. It's also impressive how quick he moves, especially for a heavyweight. Like, I used to think Anthony Joshua used to move quick, and then I saw Tyson Fury, and there's no match in the two. Fury's got fantastic technique. He says whatever he wants. He doesn't bullshit around.
Tyson Fury, as a boxer, as a fighter, he's mainly a fighter. I don't class him as a boxer at all. He is a fighter that's come into the ring.
Tyson Fury, a 6'9" technical machine from Lancashire, Britain, one of Britain's most top prospects. This is why we commend him as one of Britain's best boxers at the moment.
I'm not really a big fan of him, to be honest. I don't really see the hype around his boxing ability at all. Yeah.
One of the most controversial figures in boxing today is Tyson Fury, standing in at 6'9" and weighing in at 18 stone. This boxer has one of the most awkward styles of fighting in the heavyweight game and moves like a lightweight in the ring. However, this form of fighting has seen great success with a record of 27-0. Fury has always been a controversial figure. For some examples, where in 2013, Fury was fined £3,000 for calling fellow boxers Tony Bellew and David Price gay lovers on live TV. 2015, Fury was once again in controversy when he claimed, "Why don't they just make drugs totally legal in sports? Then everybody would be taking drugs and then it would be fully fair." Because of this attitude, many boxing promoters don't work with Fury, and some don't even consider him a true boxer, leaving Fury on the outside of the sport.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but Tyson Fury is the most unentertaining fighter I've ever seen.
Fury even said that he felt he had to be controversial to get noticed, showing from the very start he has not been very well loved. In this documentary, we are looking at mentally where Fury was at in his 2.5-year retirement, why he retired and how he came back to fight Wilder. On the 28th of November 2015, Fury was to box against what he thought would be the biggest opponent yet, but his biggest opponent came after the bell. Born in an Irish traveller's heritage in August 1988, Fury was born too early and struggled to stay alive. His father, John Fury, saw him fighting for life and named his son Tyson after the heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Fighting has always been in Fury's family. His father, John Fury, fought as a bare-knuckle fighter. Fury has always had problems getting in citizenship, as his father's birth was not recorded by official state, but instead recorded unofficially with baptism. This meant that he wasn't even accepted in his country as one of their own. As an amateur, Fury represented both Ireland and England. Fury represented Ireland 3 times at international level. He fought out of the Holy Family Boxing Club in Belfast, Northern Ireland. However, he was forced to withdraw from the club after officials from the Holy Trinity Boxing Club in West Belfast submitted a protest regarding his eligibility. In 2006, Fury joined in the Senior National Championship, but was beaten by David Price. Fury also lost out on a chance to go to the Olympics in 2008 because of Price. Fury attributes this for the reason why he turned pro instead of waiting for a chance he might not get into the 2012 Olympics. While Price was getting bronze in the Olympics, Fury won the ABA Championship in 2008. 2008, Fury made his professional debut fighting Bela Janowski on the undercard of Carl Froch versus Jean Pascal. In 2009, Fury fought John McDormand for the English heavyweight title. Fury won by a controversial win by decision. However, many felt that he lost the fight. Fury later said he was disappointed with his performances. He was not unfit for the fight, but instead overtrained in the gym. Fury then went on to say that TV only showed McDermott's highlights in the fight. This most affected Fury, that even the TV ignored his achievement, even though he said it wasn't his best performance. In 2012, Fury went on to fight Kevin Johnson and quoted, "This is the opponent that I want at this stage of my career. This was the opportunity to fight for the WC title." Fury won the match by decision, which meant he was in the line to fight Vladimir Klitschko.
Nothing personal but business.
No, it isn't business.
I have
for
nothing
me.
personal
No, it's
to
very
you.
personal for
Pure-
me, Vlad.
pure-
Yeah?
In 2013, Fury was to fight cruiserweight champion Steve Cunningham in the IBF elimination to determine the number 2 ranking, with the winner fighting Kobrat Prolov for the mandatory position to fight Klitschko. Fury knocked Cunningham down for the first time in his career. In 2013, Fury was scheduled to fight David Haye, which would have been Fury's first fight on pay-per-view, until Haye pulled out for a cut on his eyelid that he sustained in training. They would then go into fight again until Haye pulled out again. What he said was a career-threatening shoulder injury.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm not willing to do a face-off, as David Haye scares me when he looks at me, so I'm not willing to do it. Maybe later on another time and date, but I don't really want to do a face-off because I don't want him to see the fear in my eyes. That's why I've got my sunglasses on.
Because of the trouble with Haye, Fury lost his chance for the mandatory shot at the belt. In Fury's next fight against Joey Abel, who he beat, and at the end of the fight he excluded, "Tyson too fast, Fury, and that's the name. Fighting's the game, and these are bums compared to me. I want Vladimir Klitschko. He's avoiding me. Let's get it on, Vlad." Fury was then scheduled to fight Chisora for the second time in his career. However, Fury pulled out because his uncle and trainer was taken seriously ill. Both fighters rescheduled the rematch. Fury won the match once again, his confidence only grown with each win. In this fight, Fury used the southpaw stance, even though Fury is usually having an orthodox stance. He then had one more fight before the Klitschko fight. In the lead up to the Klitschko fight, Fury predicted that he would be depressed after the fight and retire from boxing. This clearly demonstrated that even before his retirement he had bad depression, but might have kept it back because of his training and the goal to fight the best. Ever since the age of 14, Fury watched Klitschko and wanted to beat him to be the best, claiming his main goal was to fight the best to be the best. The fight was then scheduled for July 2015, but was postponed for October 2015 as Klitschko sustained a calf injury while training.
At Matty's training camp, we're in the sauna, about 10 guys in the sauna, and it came down to me and Vlad in the sauna. Do you remember this, Vladimir, at all? No?
I mean, I remember the sauna and I remember
In,
the sparring
in
partners.
the Stangleworth Hotel.
Yeah.
It was all in the sauna, a few guys in there.
Yeah.
Everyone starts popping off around us. And it gets down to him, and I'm over the other side. And I'm thinking, I've only had 12, 13 fights. But still in my mind, I was mentally in a competition with him. In the mind.
Was it a competition?
Right, he can say what he wants, he can deny it, whatever, yeah? But I was prepared.
What are you talking about?
I was prepared to die in that sauna before I'd got out. I stayed in for like 40 minutes.
I believe, I don't know, I mean, I don't remember exactly that moment, but I believe im Steingate in the sauna, people are walking in naked. So...
Who got out first?
He did. He got out first.
And what did you think at that time?
Fought mental victory.
The fight was then held in a country dominated by Klitschko's fans in Germany.
As I stated before, Tyson Fury is a fighter, Klitschko is a boxer. The two clashed. Klitschko unfortunately couldn't handle the fighter in Fury and didn't know how to handle a fighter, and that is why Klitschko unfortunately lost.
Tyson Fury wants to show that he's the best, even though he has beaten Klitschko, someone that was dominant in the heavyweight division for so long.
Well, my thoughts on the Klitschko fight were sort of like, I just don't really think it was all that of a fight. I think Klitschko was the clear winner of that fight, and that Fury was wrongly given the decision. And I think they really should have had another fight.
Looking at him technically, it was amazing. He was able to do what he needed to do and get the points, and to get the points in Klitschko's own country was a hard job. But I will agree that even Tyson Fury said that it was a 12-round snore fest. But at the end of the day, he got the job done, and there's nothing really more to say.
No one trusted or believed that Fury was going to go to Dusseldorf and win against Klitschko on match points. On the night of the fight, there was a lot of controversy, such as a problem with the gloves, the ring canvas, and when Klitschko had his hands wrapped, he didn't have a team member from Fury's camp watching, so they had to be re-wrapped.
Either the heavyweight championship of the world just changed hands, or we're about to witness.
The dream had come true for a young boy, Fury had climbed the mountain and won. A rematch was contracted for the fight, however, the match never came to be.
No, I don't think Tyson deserved to win at all, because I just think that Klitschko just outboxed him the whole fight, and I think he would happily do it again now as well.
For me, I think Fury should have won the fight, and he did. I don't think it should have ever gone to Klitschko. And if it did go to Klitschko, I think it would have been just a robbery, and everyone would have known that it was because it was in Klitschko's country. The reason why he won. Because he didn't do anything to win that fight. Fury just dominated him and outboxed him throughout the whole fight, and Klitschko didn't really do anything to win the fight.
Fury deserved to win. He studied, he knew he was fighting against a boxer, and all he did was bully him. And Klitschko didn't know how to handle a fighter.
When Fury retired, I didn't know why he retired. And it just seemed really weird having him, like, he retiring after winning the belt. But he did, and he took that 2.5 year gap.
I don't actually know the reason why he retired. I'm guessing it's just because he got all the money and everything that he needed. I'm guessing, I don't really know.
Yeah, he got himself in, got his big pay packet, and got himself deep and into drugs. And obviously was banned from the sport. And my views on that is he should never come back.
I'd suffered with mental health problems my whole life, but I didn't know what it was because I never had no education on the matter. And it wasn't until after the Klitschko fight, a very massive high, then I had to have a even worse low, lowest low that anyone could ever have. I'd wake up and I think, why did I wake up this morning? This is coming from a man who had everything: money, fame, glory, titles, a wife, a family, kids, everything. But I felt as if I had nothing. I felt there was an empty, gaping hole.
After the fight with Klitschko, Fury was scheduled to fight another boxer named Glaskov, but because he had a rematch contracted with Klitschko, he couldn't. This meant the IBO stripped him of the belt after only 7 days. The rematch with Klitschko never came to be. Because Fury sprained his ankle in training, he had a 3-month gap to heal. In this gap, the UK Anti-Doping Board charged him with a banned drug in his body, but he also failed a drug test for cocaine. Following these offences, Fury released that he didn't want to box anymore, quoting, "The fire has burned out." Fury was at this time dealing with depression because before the Klitschko fight, Fury not only lost his uncle and trainer, but his wife had a miscarriage, and on the same day he said he pushed back, which he later regrets doing as he didn't handle the situation in the best way. On October the 13th, the British Boxing Board of Control suspended Fury's boxing licence, adding to his frustration.
I just didn't want to do it anymore, if you know what I mean. I didn't have the desire. The fire wasn't burning no longer to fight. And I was suffering with depression the whole time. Even in training camp, before I sprained my ankle, I was depressed as depressed could be.
After the 3-month gap, he started drinking and taking drugs daily. He quoted, "I used to drink and take drugs to get away from the depression," which started after the Klitschko fight because his goal was completed. He had climbed the mountain and didn't know what was next. He said that he never touched a drug until he was 27.
When you've got a goal in mind from being a child all your life, and you do that, then I was lost. I was almost like I didn't have anything more to do in my life. Although I could have carried on and defended the belts and whatever, I wasn't really interested in doing that. I'd beat the man I'd always wanted to do. Because when I was an amateur boxer, I used to watch Vladimir Klitschko on TV as a world heavyweight champion. And I always aimed he was my target to beat. And when I finally beat him, it was like climbing my Everest.
In 2016, Fury was at his lowest point. Fury drove down a 5-mile highway, he quotes, he got into the car at 190 miles per hour and was saying that he was going to drive off the bridge, killing himself. Fury didn't care about nothing, quoting, "I just wanted to die so bad, I gave up on life." At this moment, Fury stopped himself, thinking about his family and what they had to go through. Fury then met up with a therapist who told Fury's dad he is not to be trusted alone. Frightened for his son, he moved in with Fury, which probably didn't help his mental state as a grown adult being watched again like a kid. Fury quoted to wake up and think, "Why did I wake up this morning?" And this has come from a man who'd won everything: money, fame, glory, titles, a wife, family and kids.
Coming back from a Great Depression where he constantly got suicidal thoughts and he just ate and he drank and he just partied to try and get over it. However, that wasn't helping it, losing almost half his weight after gaining 400 pounds.
Well, I was actually really shocked, to be fair, because I hadn't actually seen him previously, sort of like the build-up to him being that weight, so I was quite shocked to see it, but at the same time not surprised, because other fighters such as like Ricky Hatton and people have done that after they've given up fighting.
What I thought initially when seeing him at £400 was just shock, because you had this athlete who wasn't skinny, but still in decent shape, and now has gone to £400, 28 stone. So it was a bit of a jaw-dropping moment, because you don't really think of athletes going from what they used to be like to that sort of weight.
At that weight, at a lighter weight, it's good to see him. He's actually come back, and I'm hoping that he's going to come back as a boxer, not as a fighter. I hope he does.
No, I don't think Tyson would ever return to boxing, especially after seeing him at such a big weight, because it takes a huge amount to get back to that level, and actually it's the only thing I can really praise him on.
For me, after seeing Fury at £400, I don't think anyone thought he was going to return to boxing. And all the stories that I heard from Fury, again, I thought there's no way he's going to step back into a boxing ring, and if he does, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, I do think he was going to come back. For the sheer fact is, I think he needs the money, and Tyson Fury, being the person who he is, he will draw in the money just for the sheer fact of his name. It's Tyson Fury, and I think unless he can actually improve and be a boxer, that's the only thing that's going to draw in the crowds, whether losing the weight and actually turning himself into a boxer as well as a fighter. I just think he's going to keep getting beaten.
For 18 months, Fury kept going out partying, getting drunk and taking cocaine. Fury did try to get back into training, but it never worked. Every time he tried to train, he heard a voice that made him stop and go back to drinking. He felt that boxing would no longer be for him. Fury hated boxing, and he had done it all his life, and he finally had enough.
I was a £400 dressed up as a skeleton. And I go to this fancy dress party, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, these are all young kids compared to me. I'm 30 and I feel like I was the oldest guy in there, like 29. I was like, what am I doing here? Is this what you want for your life? And I thought to myself, this is not me. And no matter how many people told me before this, where I was going wrong, what I was doing, you need to act your life. You can only change your life if you want to change it.
2017, Fury was at a Halloween party. He left early, went to his bedroom and begged God to help him. He didn't want his life to stay the same. He stood up and felt it was going to be okay for the first time. He realised to beat the depression, he needed to set himself goals, to keep him busy, as he felt he was at his worst when he was alone to think, which most people with depression will say the same, as it is just you and your mind, nothing to distract them. When depressed, Fury was prescribed medication but refused to use it, not wanting to be the person that lives only on pills and medicine. Fury did it with hard work and setting goals. Fury still believes that he was meant to go down this road to appreciate his life more, and believes that his mission is to help others and spread the message of depression.
I think his comeback so far has gone really well. Like, we had 2 tune-up fights. He's now challenged Wilder, and that's got a lot of buzz around it and really capturing the boxing fans. So I think his comeback's going great, and I can't wait to see what happens on December 2nd.
Well, I think his comeback's been pretty easy so far. He's fought a couple of fighters that not too many people have really heard of and not really had a huge amount of experience.
Recently coming out of retirement, fighting 2 fighters to prove himself that he's back. He's come back to fight the best after only 2 fights after 3 years. It was extraordinary.
His comeback fights have been easy fights. They're the build-up fights with him losing weight and everything, is putting him against boxers and everything. They're grooming him for the big fight. Basically, I think he is going to struggle when he gets in the ring with a fighter now.
Fury called his comeback. Fury wanted a whole new team behind him, new trainers, new producers, a new crew. His return would have been on the undercard for Josh Warrington versus Kiko Martinez. But when this was announced, the BBBOFC, British Boxing Board of Control, came out to say that he still does not have a boxing licence. He then got back into training, saw a video of Deontay Wilder calling Fury out. This gave him motivation to come back and fight Wilder, giving him a goal to aim for once again. However, the problem was Fury had 3 court cases to handle. He was suspected of taking performance-enhancing drugs, this being nanoline, which is produced naturally in the body, and Fury's levels were too high, which meant most felt he was doping. Even though Fury claims to have never taken drugs before, he started using cocaine.
Well, I refused them as well. I was in a bad mood one day and the drug testing people come in the gym and I told them to fuck off.
While retired, Fury was still getting drug tested, and the UK boxing parole suspending his boxing licence for failing a cocaine test. All this added up to a ban from the sport, a suspension that deemed medically unfit to fight. Fury then stayed positive, knowing that he would get past this and come back to box with the faith of God with him, which was the biggest help in his recovery. I believed he had kept him going, and he believed in himself. Fury challenged the UK anti-doping board, saying either ban me or give me a licence. This was a huge gamble for him, but he felt he was being treated unfairly. Fury tweeted out about the frustrations on Twitter, claiming that usually this would be sorted in a couple of months, where he has been waiting for 15. UK anti-doping stated that they went and spent £600,000 on Fury's case. The report read, taking into account the delays in results management, that means charges were not brought in respect of the nanoline filing until 2016, and the professional suspension that Tyson and Huey Fury have already effectively served in the 2-year period of ineligibility is backdated to 13th of December 2015 and therefore expires at midnight on the 12th of December 2017. In December, the nanoline case was dropped for not enough evidence. He then got reassessed for his mental state and passed. The suspension was then dropped because of the past. The last thing to do was to drop from 28 stone to 18 stone.
The 2 tune-up fights he had, I think it was just about getting the rounds in, getting that experience back, getting the ring rust off. And I think he just outboxed each boxer. And I just thought he did great, especially with that 2.5-year gap. But they were tune-up fights and they weren't too hard. So I think he could have maybe picked 2 boxers that are a bit higher up and a bit better to come back into, but I understand why he picked the boxers that he did.
Again, I just don't really think that they were anything special. I think that if he wants to be big again, he needs to be fighting a lot better fighters than that, which with the Wilder fight he will be.
But I do think they are rushing him. Like I say, he has lost a lot of weight in such a short time. He's doing the easy fights to build him up. Obviously, he wants to have a go at one of the major titles again. I personally don't think he'll ever get a world title again, but I think the promoters are just using the name Tyson Fury to get their money in. And I do hope that he does pay attention, he does become a boxer and a skilled boxer, get that fighting bit out of him, and he may progress. But other than that, he's a money spinner. That is it. That's what I think of him.
Fury then went on to his next fight at 258 pounds, fighting against Francesco Pioneer. Behind the scenes, the Fury was working on fighting another boxer, that being Wilder. Fury won this fight in the 10th round by decision. After the fight, it was declared Fury would fight Wilder. Fury claimed, "We have two men who will fight anyone. This man has been trying to make a fight with another champ. They called, I answered, I said, send me the contract. They sent it. I said yes. The fight happened and was sorted within a week." Fury and Wilder are set to fight on December the 1st, and Fury doesn't seem to be intimidated by Wilder or even his team. Wilder ready to prove that he is the greatest, and Fury to prove that he can fight once again. Fury has hinted that he might fall back into depression.
Challenger Fury.
I'm not a challenger. Refrain.
Okay.
Refrain.
I will restate. To the lineal champion.
Yes.
I think Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, I think Fury will win. Like, he said himself, Wilder's only got one punch, one knockout, and that's it. And Wilder's always looking for that knockout. He hasn't got any technique really. If you look at his footwork, it's terrible. The punches are just windmill punches. He swings and puts everything into them, which is great when you connect, but when you miss it, you see Wilder at a vantage point where you can easily just take him, and I think Fury will see them points and go for it.
Again, that's going to be the same as the Klitschko and Fury fight. You've got a boxer against a fighter. I think it will be a close fight. Tyson Fury, he's lost the weight. Has he lost the power? We don't know. He's not come up against anybody with power yet in his run-up fights. I think it'll be a close call. If Wilder screws his head on, Wilder will walk all over it. I think Wilder will win it, and it'll be a convincing win. It won't be points decision or anything like that. It's going to be a knockout. If Tyson Fury's still got the power and he hits Wilder, Wilder will go down, and vice versa. With Wilder, he's got power as well, and a lighter Tyson Fury, has he still got it? We'll just have to wait and see.
I definitely think Wilder will win the fight. I just think that even though Tyson probably could technically outbox Wilder, I don't think it's going to happen, because I think it's just going to catch him.
If he loses, it could be the end of his career. I think it will be the end of his career. If he wins, well, he'll just go on to bigger and better things. But I think if he loses, and he loses big, that'll be the end of Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Long live his nephew.
But there's two ways he can go. He's hinted out maybe trying to fight AJ, but he already know, or he's said that probably won't happen because of the problems with AJ versus Wilder. So he doesn't think Abraham will let AJ fight Fury. So he could either do that, he could stay in boxing and fight the other top ranking heavyweights, or he's even hinted that he might go back and be depressed again, and it might, and history might repeat itself. But I believe that he's going to stay in boxing. I think he's on the right track now, and he seems like he wants to spread this message of depression and try and help people. So I think that is what he might do as well.
It's going against the 6'7" knockout machine Deontay Wilder with 39 knockouts and fought in 40 fights. Although some may say that this is a hard fight for Wilder, it's also a hard fight for Fury. However, Wilder, although he respects Fury, will want to win because he wants to prove himself not only to America but to the world that he is the best by beating the best, and then he will have to come against Anthony Joshua, who is also Britain's best boxer right now. This truly is America versus Britain in one of the best fights of the year. This is going to go down in history. Wilder, with his erratic swings and his knockout punches, versus the most technical and fast fighter in the heavyweight division right now. Although some say this is an easy fight for Tyson Fury because of the way Deontay Wilder fights, all it takes is one punch. Will Tyson Fury get hit by that one punch? Well, I'll have to see on the 1st on Saturday. Whoever wins takes all.
Let's have a little tickle, come on. Let me feel this power on the Alabama Slammer.
Hey.
Come on, get up.
Are you serious?
Let's have a little body spark. Come on, I want to feel
Hey,
it.
let's do it then. Shit. I'm always for it. I'm always for it.
Frank, you back
Ready?
I'm always for it.
I'm ready when you are, big
Let's
dosser.
go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Come on.
Let's go.
Come on then.
Let's go.
No, Frank, I want him to. I want to feel that power.
I'm gonna show you the.
I want to feel the power.
I'm gonna show you the full.
You're going to feel the fury. You're not going to feel no power.
I'm gonna show you the full.
Come on. Come on.
I'm gonna show you the full.
Come on.
I'm gonna show you.
Your wife pushes harder than that, you little bitch.
I'm gonna show you the full.
Come on.
I'm gonna
was
show you
nothing.
the full length. This ain't
That's
no game.
pathetic.
The mentality.
I wanna
this
feel the
ain't no
power.
game. It's gotten serious. This is the first. It's getting serious. The
You never even had the
manifestation
nuts to
has
stick on
started.
it, did you?
You understand?
You're on the floor.
We gonna see what happens.
We'll see.
We gonna see what happens. Have a seat.
And we'll see.
We gonna see what happens.
He's whispering in my ear right now. Go easy, go easy, go easy. He's really whispering me. I love you, man. I love you, man. You're the champ. You're the champ. I'm translating.
You can't wait.
Yes,
you
you are
can't
the
wait.
champ. I know
When
this.
you on the campus, boy, you gonna think about me when you on the ground, and when you wake up in the hospital, you gonna remember what happened. You gonna feel the power that I'm bringing to you.
That's what you call
You
a
gonna see
move.
what's happening. You see how it's smooth now?
Sure, you turn up and fight.
Everything you
Turn
say.
up and fight on the day.
Everything you say.
You big useless dosser. Make sure you turn up. Come on. Any time of day and fucking 7 days a week. Twice on a Sunday, you big dosser. Come on, bring it on. Bring it on, you big shithouse. He needs all these men, I don't.
On December the 1st, Fury and Wilder collided. Boxing fans, Wilder fans and Fury fans came together to watch to see who would win and to see history be made, no matter the result. Fans got treated to clips of both Wilder and Fury training. They were shown events with two boxers until the big night. Throughout the build-up, Fury rattled Wilder and wanted to prove 4 things. No one knows Wilder. Wilder only fights bums. There's no way Wilder can knock him out. And Wilder isn't even a boxer, he's a basketball player. In the UK, boxing fans waited until 4 AM to see what would happen, with gallons of drinks, mountains of snacks and plenty of jokes, and fun until match time. Nerves, excitement and tension hit the fans as both fighters walked down to the ring. It was time. Fury hit it on points, would Wilder knock him out. In round 1 to 8, Fury dominated the match and clearly was having fun in the rounds. Fury was slipping and frustrating Wilder, but Wilder still managed to get a couple of good shots in. In round 9, Wilder knocked down Fury, which gave Wilder that round. Fury quickly stood up and dominated the rest of the rounds from 10 to 12, until, in the 12th round, Wilder struck Fury, and Fury went down. Fury was stretched out on the canvas, his body was limp, his head back and his eyes closed, but it was either his belief in God or his dedication to the goal and dream that he was set. Fury did the impossible, his eyes opened, he slowly raced back to his feet and to fight on. Fury throwed everything that happened to him within that 2.5 year break. All the struggles and hardship, he was raising up to fight it all. Fury and Wilder fought till the bell, but what happened after the fight was equally unbelievable. Both fighters waited for the results, which came to a split decision, which ended in a draw. Fury fans, Wilder fans, and boxing fans alike all agreed that Fury was robbed by the judges. What must that do to the man? Fury put his heart and soul into this fight. He came back from getting dropped and close to a knockout, but yet the judges still didn't think he won. When asked about the rematch, Fury claimed he's just going to enjoy the fight that he put on and can finally relax for Christmas, even though he did get a draw in a match he should have won. He is again trying to be positive about the whole event, showing how far Fury came from the Klitschko fight, as after that fight Fury didn't take the moment in, but instead didn't know what to do. He had beaten a boy's dream, but now he would take time to reflect on the great performances he just did. This fight will go down in history for a couple of reasons. This being Wilder's biggest fight ever, Fury's biggest comeback, Fury coming back from getting knocked down and coming back to fight, and of course, the robbery from Fury. However, Fury said the winners are the fans and that they are massive. A massive, great fight where Fury did his country proud and is back on the track and seems to be going to stay on the track.
My lover's got no money, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no power, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no fame, he's got his strong beliefs. My lover's got no money, he's got his strong beliefs. Want more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, want more and more, people just want more and more freedom and love. What he's looking for, freed from desire, mind and senses purified, freed from desire, mind and senses purified, freed from desire, mind and senses purified, freed from desire. Na 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 na
and to help others. I know it's my true calling card now. And the more time I keep in shape and the more I do in the game and keep spreading the word on mental health, hopefully one day will be an open thing to talk about in public to everybody.
I can make those people dead. Sing along if you know the words. For a while, come on. February made me shiver. With every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. Come on, guys, join in. If I cried right now, everybody's will cry. Come on, but something touched me deep inside. The day, sing on. The music died. All together now. Survive on this American pie. Throw the levee to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys are drinking whiskey and wine. Come on, Freddie! This'll be the day that I die. Come on! This'll be the day that I die.
Now for 10 years we've been on our own, and moss grows fat on a rolling stone, but that's not how it used to be. When the jester sang for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean, and a voice that came from you and me. Oh, and while the king was looking down, the jester stole his thorny crown. The courtroom was adjourned.